Hi, Sportster Paul here. We're with HSMWorks CAM program, computer aided manufacturing, makes G codes and such for your milling machine. This is a first impression. I have to admit I bought it because it was, well, you buy it the next 2 days, it's $300 a year instead of 500. But I can get my money back in 30 days. So we'll see. So far, I'm happy. It's like CamWorks. It's a love-hate, not CamWorks, SolidCAM. It's a love-hate. There's certain exasperations, might be. I'm a prototype user, not an everyday user. I'm not a machinist, but I've been using for the last 3 months 5 CAM programs. So I'm kind of familiar with how stuff works. Let's go up to SolidWorks and get into it. I should mention the first thing that exasperated me. I bought it. I got the email. I didn't open the email for 10 days. Oh, it's expired. So then you go to help, and then they send it back, and then they send you a new one. Okay, now I made my username in AutoDesk, and it's a spy. They're pigs, like all companies. So you got to go in the start menu of your Windows 10 and erase the automatic AutoDesk startup things. I think maybe I don't know. I just had enormous problems, and it's still not legal. I still can't get it registered. I okay. I got my username. It won't accept my username now, and it's a trial version, and it's operating like a 30-day trial. Passive aggressive, send me a screenshot. Well, I didn't get that email either because I don't check that email. The email account that I give to companies like Autodesk is not one that I'm going to check every day. Sorry, folks. So anyway, let's get up to SolidWorks. That's my first impression of Autodesk hasn't changed from when I had AutoCAD 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Here it is. You got to stretch it out a little to see the tab. There it is. Here's your HSMWorks CAM manager, they call it. Here's the part tree. This is the test part that my buddy Dave Rui made. Mechanical engineer, machinist, industrial designer, does it all. Designed this part to trip up automatic feature recognition and stuff in CAM. So we've been doing this, evaluating all these SolidWorks version CAM systems. HSMWorks here, BobCAD, you name it. You can look at my history and see. So we're going to go over here. I have eliminated, what you might want to do is go up here and say enable a CAM. Now I hate that because it tightens up this, and then there's stuff you got to scroll to see. But when you're first using the program, okay, what do we do? So here, this is kind of the name of the file, Rui test part HSMWorks 1 operations, and they've added the word there. New operation. Okay, so now this is operations, but that's not what you're supposed to do. You want to make a job. So and this is programmer speak because they don't talk to machinists. They just say, well, let's call it a job. What this really means is setup. Okay, so that's one of the exasperations. When they use the word job, a job is the whole part, right? Is the job done? Yeah, it's all done. Ship it. So typical goofiness, right? All this is normal suffering with software programmer goofiness. So you can see it here, right click here, or you can go up here and hit job up there. Let's click it here. So then it goes into goofy mode. Okay, and this is one of the things that I'm beginning to love about this. They don't pop up huge dialog boxes that are different, every one. They try to do everything within the SolidWorks tree here. So that's kind of worked out well. Okay, it's milling. We don't want to turn. We don't need a comment. It's pre-selected since this is just a solid part with one solid body in it. It's selected the part. That's why it's here. So it knows what to cut, right? That's going to be important. Stock. Unlike SolidWorks CAM by CamWorks, they let you pick the relative size stock. Oops, I poofed it. Okay, no, not relative. They let you pick absolute. Nobody order stock by, well, it's 2.3 inches, it's a tenth of an inch bigger than my part, because your part could be any funny, goofy size. So you want fixed size box. Oh, first tip, if you hover over this now, because of this drop down menu, see all those different things? If you hover and use the scroll wheel, it will scroll through them. Scroll up, scroll down, scroll. Okay, and then it stops at the top one. So we go down one click. Wow, automatic. I happen to know from doing this on 10 different CAD programs. To their credit, unlike Visual Mill, you don't have to click out of the box. You don't have to click here. Just typing it in, and you can see it starts taking in the model. Boom, there it is. And some meat on the top and the bottom. That's going to be 1.5. I'm going to complain a lot because, when you first start, you're exasperated. Now, here's what's beautiful. Okay, so it's centered it, but we know we only want a little meat down here. We want most of the stock down here so we could hold this thing in the vise. So that they do with these. Offset from top, 1/4 of an inch. No, I want to go with 1/10 of an inch, and it doesn't take long. And see, it's instant. You don't got to take focus out of the box. You don't got to do anything. So that's way to go. Thank you so much. HSMWorks is a Danish company. I think things that they did, other than not knowing the difference, it might be a Dutch English or a Danish English translation problem, job instead of setup. But things that they did all seem pretty good. All the get licenses and all the Autodesk stuff seems miserable so far. That's my first impression. So, okay, now, please, everybody that works at a CAM program company, go look at Visual Mill, download it, and see how they deal with it. Because at this point, Visual Mill has a little icon that says work 0. Okay, that I understand, work 0, part 0. Like MasterCAM, oh no, we got to have some goofy programmer mathematician name. This is the work coordinate system. No, nobody calls it that, you know. I spent an hour going on the internet because, okay, so it's defaulted to front plane. Well, trying to get this little icon up in the corner of the stock where my part 0 wants to be, like in all of these. Well, okay, maybe if I select here, it starts moving the stock on you. It's like, are you crazy? The stock was a whole different tab. I'm done with stock. Why are you moving the stock? I still really can't figure it out. What I did, taking notes, and you should all take notes when you get into stuff like this, because it gets so common with these drill, linear brain programmer dialog boxes, you'll get lost. So I learned the way to do this is here, use Z and Y, and there's probably multiple ways to get here. Then what's this one? This is once, okay, so it's got this face, so it points, what selecting the face there does is point Z, correct. Now we want to select this box to get the Y, and in my machine, positive Y is towards the back, right? And this is the way the part's going to sit in the vise. So click there, nothing happens. Oh, what's wrong? Well, then you got to know, oh, it's not here like SolidWorks does it. It's here, reverse the axis. Finally, it's in the right spot. Then the origin, once again, you can stock box, you can use the scroll wheel and go through these. We want it on the stock box because I'm going to find this corner here with an edge finder and do my thing. Then here is where on that stock box, and you know, all these different things. The things that CamWorks and that Visual Mill, they just put little asterisks on the actual thing and you go click on it. That would be a little more civilized. This is classic programmer, everything linear, everything written, nothing visual and graphic. But remember, you can use that scroll wheel, so hover over it, use the scroll wheel. Bottom, no, we don't want to go there. Middle corner, let's go up. Top, okay, there it was. Did I get it? There it is. Top corner 3. So rather than click, you can just use the scroll. That's the biggest tip, you know, I have for you folks today. Machine. I've defined the machine in my practice. I've been practicing all day. And this is, if it wasn't defined, you can go edit machine, description. I have this Avid Benchtop Pro 3-foot by 2-foot gantry style machine. You know, I filled in as much as I could here. Stuff about the spindle, the horsepower. I am not sure how much of this is used in speeds and feeds calculation. It seems to be the speeds and feeds are stored in the tool. But I figure the more information I give this, there's no automatic tool changer. Maybe that'll help me down the road. And then you're allowed to save it, which is what I did, which is why I was able to call it up, right? So as you go and create one, you can save it, or you can go here and load it, and here it is. The machine, I put it in my little CamQuest thing. Cancel. So we've got the machine defined. See, and this is where, when you run out of space down here, this is why I hate this command manager. So there, post-processing, I guess this is just what they're going to name the file, because it was in the machine definition that I told it was Mach 3 because they didn't have Mach 4. It's something, in the future, we're going to be fixing all this stuff. So far, I'm happy enough with this program. Program name, it'll be Rui Test 1. Program comment, we don't care. Work offsets. This work offset was important in BobCAD, where it would bury the part inside the table when you did a machine simulation instead of a stock simulation. And it would have collisions because the offset of the part was flush with the table of whatever mill I picked. So remember that's there here in the job, okay? But I think we're all done. So 10 minutes into this, we finally got a work 0. You light it up and you see your work 0. I love that. You see the stock and the work 0. You can't, to edit, you got to right click. You can't double click. That doesn't work. Or did I just do it? I don't know. Maybe it did work. Nope. Double click doesn't work. But you can long hold and it'll do a rename. So we can say top, and it's not a job, folks. In Denmark, it's a setup. Then a new operation, 2D milling, facing. This is when you learn, now we're starting to get in the, okay, all that was silly exasperation. Library. I did spend 2 hours. There was a library called Sample Library. And it had a tool, that was too short. It was a 1/4" end mill, which is what I want to use for this whole part other than the drills. It was too short. You go to change it. Oh, well, this is a write only. So you all have computer science degrees, right? So I'm trying, this is a help file. I am. So you go like to Windows and you find in program files, HSMWorks, libraries, you copy that somewhere. And then you got to know to go highlight all that stuff, right click it, and where it says read only, unclick the read only attribute on all those files inside. And there may be a way to do that in here. I am not sure, because you go on the internet, you don't go where you don't light something up and right click. Right? That doesn't help you. Go here, right click. Oh, paste copy. Right here's all the tools. This is my library. This is the one my sample one I poofed. You go here and you say add a library folder, and then I think you can drag stuff from their sample folder to your new folder, but I'm not sure if it unchecks. I don't think it unchecks that read-only attribute. You got to go into Windows and do that because everybody has a computer science degree like the people who wrote the program. Anyway, finally when you get it so you can edit a tool and that edit will take, okay? And then I erased the sample because if these are filters up here, right? So let's say I want to look at the flat mills. Well, it had twice as many because it would show both libraries, the read-only library, sample, and the one that I created. So let's come down here. It's a 1/4" end mill. You'll see where I edited it. Here it is. And this is where this edit tab, well, the edit tab always works. This is when you spend a half hour changing everything and say save. Oh, we can't save it. It's read-only. Okay, thanks. So this is where I did the edit. I made the tool longer. Oh, here's the other misery trick. They don't tell you the number of flutes or the flute length in the default on install. You got to know to right click up here and turn on flute length and turn on number of flutes down here. And then you got to know, because they show up over here, to drag them so you can see. Okay, so all of the tools in the sample library are 3 or 4 flute. Here's the next misery. Save all you people. I'm not going to get a lot of machining done because of all the exasperations of a new program where arbitrary decisions were made by programmers who never talked to a machinist. So where do I set it? 2 flutes. An hour. Well, it should be general. And I remember seeing it once, right? This is what these dialog box mental cases. Cutter. Okay, how many flutes? This is where I made it longer. And, this is all cool stuff. This is nicely done. Of all the goofy, dumb places, because they use the number of flutes in the feed and speed calculations, number of flutes. So after going on help, reading, where did I see it? Oh, everyone would know, right? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be sarcastic. That's bad. That's as confusing as programmers. It is absolutely moronic to put the number of flutes of a tool in the feed and speed tab. Sorry, put it in both, which is a normal cowardice programmer way to do things, or move it to general. Or move it to cutter. There's lots of space here. So that was a misery. Okay, so we've got it. I did the editing. I learned all this library stuff. At least they give it to you, So bless their heart for that. Select. So here it is. It shows up here. I use this library tab to get in here. It's the first one on the left. You got to love it. I just watching the internet movies or videos of this program. I said, I think I'm going to buy it. 500, even if it was 500 a year. instead of 5,000 for these other programs. Here's the speeds and feeds that I put in that tool, right? That there's tabs for feeds, that feed and speed tab where the number of flutes for. That's where I set all this, and it's brought that in, but you're allowed to change it now for this particular operation from the default. I'm not sure that changed. Let's try that. Okay, so 15,000, let's change 15,000, which belongs to the tool. That's data inside the tool, to 60. Okay, so we got that. Let's change focus, stayed 16,000. So then we go here. This is the same trick MasterCAM probably invented. Since you want to do the whole stock, don't pick anything. Don't pick this top face. Don't pick anything. Come here. Heights, I think it got them all right. Look at that. See this? So typical, the most important thing they put at the bottom. This is why I hate that command manager. Top and bottom, right? And see, bottom, model top. This is going to be very confusing. But what the deal is, this is an offset. This is where it is. So it's saying, okay, go to the top of the stock, but go right on the top of the stock, 0 inches. Machine down to the top of your model, but don't offset exactly 0 inches. The same kind of principles up here, from the retracts. Here, I think the way to show this is up here. So that's the full retract. No, that's the clearance height. Here's retract. Here's feed. Is that different? Oh, it looks to be the same, huh? Yeah, okay, feed and retract are the same. There's the stock where the cutting starts. Fantastic. When you get this deep in, they're mostly the same. Here's parameters or whatever, right? Facing. You hover, fantastic help. So this is like Visual Mill, right? Tolerance, and SolidCAM had good help too. BobCAD has no help, right? I guess they want you to pay them, which is fine. It's another way to make money. Look at this, fantastic, right? Hover over this one. Step overs. They default to a pretty thick step over, right? A 1/4 inch tool, it's taking almost the entire tool width. I don't know if that's good or bad. Like I say, I'm not a machinist yet. So I'm going to make this down to 1/8 of an inch, 125. The pattern. Now, what I'd like to do is climb mill and go in a circle and circle into the center, because that way it takes burrs off automatically around the edge. I think the only way to get that done for real is to define it as a pocket, expand the geometry big enough to include the stock, all that goofy stuff. What's this one? Pass, extend. Okay, this is where you could, even if the geometry was not blown out, this is where you could blow out if you were going to define this as a pocket, because you just wanted to spiral in on this thing. I didn't see adaptive toolpaths yet. We'll keep an eye out for that. Chip thinning, well, that is an adaptive, isn't it? Huh. We'll go look in pockets. Multiple depths, no. Because this is only 50 thousandths on the top, we're going to take it in one whack. So you just hover over stuff, and it's kind of helping you where it starts. Stock to leave, no stock to leave. They know I want to face down to true. Here's the stuff like linking, like when it gets to the end of one, how it goes. Oh, I must have made a mistake. I thought there was a place to tell it climb. It's got to be here. Preserve. See, this is facing. Here it was. Both. I want to climb mill it. Always climb mill. My buddy taught me. So let's climb mill it. And then here the linking, this is, and what I love about this, unlike SolidCAM, when you do a new operation, it just inherits the tool from the last, which is the way everyone on earth wants to work. The SolidCAM is just two clicks, click, click, and you pick the previous tool. But it's really nice that they inherit. So you hardly ever, like in this part, that's going to be a 1/4 inch end mill through the whole part. You're hardly ever clicking here, and you're hardly ever clicking here. So now there's just 3 tabs to worry about. The geometry. Does it say geometry? Yeah. The heights and the passes. I love this organization, right? This just suits me. So I think we can say yes. Oh, I made a mistake on this tool and I forgot to, let's say edit. See, I didn't change it in the library. You got to go general, live tool. I didn't know what that meant. I hovered over it and it said something about lathes. Used for lathe as live or static. So I said, well, it's I made a mistake. Okay, so we got that fixed. So we got that fixed. Now it should generate. I'm glad you saw the mistakes. I leave the mistakes in, unlike the salesman in his demo program. There it is. So hold long click and you can say face top. Unsave, save the document. Okay. So here we go. Oh, the other thing I hated about Autodesk, they started spamming me. GIS has nothing to do with machining. Don't you want notifications? So then you got to go unsubscribe. And, you know, I never told you to send me a bunch of advertisements. Something took focus away. Face top. Now we got it. So what did I want to show you next? Okay, right click. There's simulate. This is like backplot. Boy, it's dog slow, isn't it? There we go. There's a bug here in the stock simulation, I'll show you in a second, where it's kind of slow or instantaneous. I couldn't find a second way. So we're done with that. Right click, stock simulation. Isn't that great? So now here's the stock. And there's all these buttons to change this and change that. But and what's stupid is this is buried in this field of buttons. So let's see, you go here and it's pretty fast, but then if you go one speed up, it's instantaneous, right? So there's a major bug with a simple toolpath like this between this position here and this position here. So, but here's where I'm glad that I took a chance, and I don't think I'll have to ask for my money back. There's a compare function. It's not as good as the one in all the three good simulators, SolidWorks CAM by CamWorks, Visual Mill, and the best of all, SolidCAM, where they color code. And it's just like, here's the color bands for any deviation from, an inch to 10,000th of an inch, and light up and show me the colors. What they do here compares the current stock in the model. It's all shades of gray, and for some reason, there's 20 different shades of gray, which is why it's all fuzzy here. And it's like, what's going on? If those were colors, I'd be able to say, hey, it's green where it's supposed to be green, and then it starts changing colors. And I don't need 20 levels. What I found that makes my blood pressure lower is just add a 0. And then boom. And then it gets a hard, sharp edge that's like, okay, that I believe it's cut the top of the part correctly. The other thing, it's not quite as useful, distance here, right? When you're over here, it's saying, 326, I happen to know that's the distance down to that flat area. When you get over and point over here, distance says 0. So that's encouraging. So we'll go here, and I'm going to do something, tools. I should have done this before, I'm sorry. Options, document property, units, 4 units, like all machinists I have ever met want to use. Okay, so we're done with that. Face top, what time is it? 23 minutes. We got time to try a pocket. Okay, you don't do it there. You can do it up here or enable that command manager. Or the other thing, always multiple ways, the little triangle of evil. God, SolidWorks, this is pathetic. CAM, which they should say HSMWorks, but they just use the word CAM. Then where is it? There is generate toolpath? No. It's in here. I know it's in here. Toolpaths here. Generate toolpath versus toolpaths. Taxonomy is what all this is about, and programmers don't get it right ever. So you can get to it from here. 4 menu clicks in. Ridiculous. Look at Visual Mill. 1 button. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. So you got a light. No, this, I don't think you can do it. Generate toolpath. Does it have the word toolpaths here? I think you got to go all the way up here, and then you can say new operation, 2D milling. We want to do a pocket. So it's inherited that tool. Let's see if the 16,000. No. So that's actually, I changed one of these to 16,000, right? I thought it was spindle speed. So apparently it looks at the previous tool, but doesn't inherit what you changed from that one operation, if you changed anything. That's I think I like that. I like that. It brings in not the tool state from the last operation, but from the library where you store all these speeds and feeds. That's fine. Okay, this is going to be like the other ones. We're going to do this, what I call the deep pocket here. We faced it. Let's do here. and this is a SolidWorks thing, select tangency. It's nice they cross the line. I wish they'd darken closed contours the way SolidWorks CAM by CamWorks does. This one's a little harder for me to select always. Select tangency. Then you go here and here. Oh, I made a mistake. Hang on. Clear selections. You got to take those off. Okay, now, because it's going to want to do all the wrong. You know, anything automatic by programmers is wrong. That's the whole point of this part, to prove how automatic anything never works. Select tangency way down there. Now we go here. Now it's acting the way I want. Then come, there's a tiny little one here. See it right there? Then this one, and then I think this one. And that's complete. It's not too clear though, right? Because there's light blue and dark blue, typical, right? But close enough for government work. Now the levels, let's see. There, you know it's going to have trouble with levels because the geometry is so goofy. So it's going from the stock top, which is wrong because we just faced it, right? So that's kind of stupid. From model top, so that's good. From selection. So this is, oh, it doesn't like it anymore. That's interesting. We want to go down here. Oh, so now it's happy. Okay. So we only want to go down deep as this, and then we'll do the rest of the pocket separate. That might not be the smart way. It's just the way I've been doing it. I think all that's cool, right? Then here, same thing. This is climb, right? Left compensation, climb milling. Right, it's nice that they use both, right? Somebody cool was involved in this. Tolerance, minimum cutting passes. It keeps defaulting. It'll be interesting to see if there's a way. I'd like it to take, you know, 1/8 inch cuts. Step over cuts don't matter. Finishing passes don't matter. Multiple depths. And then look at 40 thousandths. They want to go down for step down. So I don't know. The general manager in charge of default settings needs a little bit of help. Then I think, okay, and then like all of them, I'm not sure if this is, if you ask for a finishing, it'll ignore stock to leave. I found just uncheck it. I just want, make it true, right? That's how these little router, 24,000 RPM spindles, that's how I think, right? It's not rough with a hob mill and then finish with a different tool. Just do it. So I think we're all done. I don't think we need linking. I think we can say yes. There they are. And there was stuff in that linking about spiral down, and we know we can change all that, right? All of these programs let you do stuff like that. Interesting the way it kind of floats out and does these goofy things. One of the deficiencies in my mind is simulations aren't stock aware. So let's change this deep pocket. If you go simulate now, it will leave the stock on the top, right? So that's goofy. So what you got to do is go up here, say, and I always like doing stock simulation, stock simulate. And then here you can just jump ahead, not next move, but next stock. So there's the facing. And now we can do the pocket. And now this kind of, oh no, I think it did the same thing, instantaneous. And do our compare, which is the nicest button in the history of the human race. Like it always goes back to default. General manager in charge of default settings, please stop messing with us. It does disappear, but also unlike visual mill, it doesn't slog down and the fan goes on and it's really dying. It seems, we'll see when we get it all done at the end of this part. We're going to get the one more pocket, then we're going to stop. We got our 30 minutes. So let's do something I don't like to do usually. Control C, Control V. Then deep pocket, we're going to, this will inherit, well, let me think. Shallow pocket, and because it was a copy, it put that one there. We can get rid of that. Then you can't double click. That's a deficiency. And edit. Not the end of the world, right? This is all just flavors. The tool's going to be right. Notice it's 15 instead of 16. The edges, okay, it got this. No, not reverse. That's not what I wanted to do. Clear selections. This is the coolest thing. This is what my buddy Dave, who invented this part, taught me how MasterCAM can do it. Most programs will. I don't think SolidWorks CAM by CamWorks, he said, didn't. Select tangency and go here. I want to show you this because this is a kind of a major payoff of cool stuff. Oops. Because I got TurboCAD that scrolls different. I always get confused. I'm always going to scroll. No, don't do that. Oh, gosh. Come up here. Okay, now this is where it gets tricky. Check this out. Go down. Go across in the tiny one. Go up. Go here. Go here. 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 You can kind of see them appearing here up on the construction plane. I thought I selected this. I guess not. You can see it getting thicker. I wish it was different colors, right? Why did you have to do blue and blue? There, here, here, and then up here closes it off. I'm not even sure you need that. Probably don't. So that's your geometry. Heights, it needs a little extra help because top, from model top, you say selection. The top is going to be, if you can find it, if you can get it to light anything up here, there, that will be good enough. And here's the offset, right? It's exactly on that edge. From selection here, now we're down here. Remember, it's inherited this because I did a copy paste for this. Here should be the stuff we liked. There, passes, multiple depths, except it is only 125 deep, so I'm just going to go 1/10 of an inch. So it'll take 2 cuts, 2 passes, right? No, I accidentally clicked that. Order by step, I think we're done. I think we're done. There it is, right? And you can see it's gone in here. It's done little arcs like it should. That in Visual Mill, we had to go advanced cutting parameters and say, no, please cut the arc, precisely. Don't just square this off. So little arcs. Sorry, it's hard to see. I'll see if I can change the material, improve the color. And there you go. So what are we doing now? Shallow pocket. And notice that they just, unlike SolidWorks CAM by CamWorks, when you hover, it starts lighting up toolpaths. And to me, I'm kind of sloppy in my mouse. It's flopping around all over the place. This one, you just light it up. And then if you hold like the shift key down, light up, hold the control key and like that. All the normal Windows stuff that you should be familiar with, hopefully. I guess we got to go here to do stock simulation. Let's get it here. And see, it's unlike BobCAD and MasterCAM, who have ModuleWorks Simulator crowbarred in. All the SolidWorks stuff works like that. We are going to go first. We're going to go here and face it. One more click, and there's the deep pocket. I think we're on slow enough. And one of the things, this is one of the cute things programmers do. Every operation has a different color. So the face is green, this one's blue, this one's orange. It gives you this information, which I wish they had times for the operation. Instead, it's removed stock. That's a big deal. Maybe it's how you bid stuff. But look, it's kind of got like that ModuleWorks Simulator, this goofy stuff, which I think, this is what you'd expect right here or right there. Why it's showing this and this wall partially, I think it's just rounding errors in the math. Maybe if we asked for 110,000th, a micron accuracy on this thing, maybe it would honor and not have this. But it's not nearly as problematic as the goofy kind of patches that show up on the ModuleWorks simulator. So once again, big money, fantastic. Compare stock and model right here. Click it. It defaults back because programmers. Add your 0. Nice and crisp. Yeah, that's just what I want to see. Right? Blue where you want blue because there's, you're going to come up and drill. So we'll come back next show and let me get this up here. Actually, I like the colors. Got at least some pretty colors here. All right. So that is HSMWorks. I missed it and didn't know about it because it's not a gold partner, right? Because AutoDesk and Dassault are mortal enemies. And I guess once AutoCAD, AutoDesk bought HSMWorks, which is this Danish company, then they stopped playing nice. I asked the salesman, he says he wasn't sure which company, but maybe it's mutual. They don't want to be gold partners. But it works better than some of the others. I love the way this thing works. It works inside your SolidWorks. We'll show you in other shows, and in this show, we'll show you why you want to use a CAM program that works inside the CAD, right? So that's that's HSMWorks. We'll be back next time. We'll do the perimeters and, get a little bit further on this. Maybe get the bottom faced. We'll see. Maybe just 2 shows. Okay, we're running along. Sportster Paul, good luck with your CAM stuff. We'll see you next time. Bye now.